Ready when you are, Dale.
Ready.
Okay. We have a special guest speaker today. Nicoya Poles is a Rochester, New York native, intuitive, and spiritual guide with a passion for helping others find clarity and healing. She works as an assistant teacher and is the founder of Koya's Crystals, an online shop she started in 2020. Through her life experience, intuitive gifts, and years of offering guidance, Nicoya is dedicated to helping others navigate challenges and grow with purpose. Thank you, Nicoya.
Thank you for asking me to come and speak. I love flowers. I adore them. I understand them. So this was definitely divine. Now, the last time I spoke in front of people was in elementary school like this, so I'm having some courage here. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking about flowers. We are all flowers in bloom. First, I want to thank you all for allowing me to speak today. When I learned the theme was flowers, something in me immediately lit up, because flowers are so much more than decoration or beauty. Flowers are teachers. They teach us something about timing, about resilience, about surrender and transformation. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized we are all flowers in bloom. Every soul here is unfolding in its own way and in its own season, and I think sometimes we forget that. We live in a world that tells us we should always be producing, always blooming, always moving forward visibly, but nature does not work that way. Flowers don't bloom all year. There are seasons of blossoming and seasons of stillness, seasons where roots are growing deep underground where no one can see them. And yet even there, growth is still happening. There's a quote I love by Anais Nin. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. I think that's such a powerful description of transformation, because blooming is beautiful, but it's also vulnerable. Growth asks us something about us. Growth asks us something of us. Sometimes it asks us to release old versions of ourselves. Sometimes it asks us to walk away from things when we thought they would last forever. And sometimes blooming means choosing ourselves, even when it's painful. Last year, I went through a major life transition after ending a 10-year relationship, someone I was engaged to, and honestly, it shook me deeply. There was grief, there was guilt, there was shame at times. Because when you make a difficult choice that other people may not understand, you start questioning yourself. You wonder if you're doing the right thing. You wonder if you're failing somehow. But through all of that, I kept returning to faith. I kept trying to turn toward the light even on days I couldn't fully feel it. And that's one reason I love sunflowers so much. Sunflowers are extraordinary because they naturally orient themselves toward the sun. Even when the sun is hidden behind clouds, they continue seeking the light. And I think spiritually, that's what so many of us are trying to do, to keep our face toward hope, toward healing, toward spirit, towards truth, especially during difficult seasons. There's another quote I love: keep your face always toward the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you. Walt Whitman. That doesn't mean pretending pain doesn't exist. It means choosing not to live inside the darkness forever. And sometimes faith is very quiet. Sometimes faith is simply waking up one more day, taking one more breath, trusting that something meaningful is still unfolding, even when we cannot yet see the full picture. Another flower that deeply speaks to me is the lotus flower. The lotus grows in mud, not in clean water, not in perfect conditions. It rises through dark, murky water before it fully blooms untouched on the surface. And spiritually, the lotus symbolizes awakening, resilience, rebirth, and transcendence. I think many of us are lotus flowers without even realizing it. Some of the most beautiful wisdom comes from surviving difficult things. Not because suffering is glamorous, but because it changes us. It softens us, it deepens us, expands our compassion. And then there are wildflowers, which I also love deeply. Wildflowers don't grow in carefully arranged gardens. They grow freely, unexpectedly, and uniquely. No two are exactly alike, and what I love most about wildflowers is that they don't apologize for what they are. They bloom where they are planted. That lesson became very personal for me this year. I realized that part of my healing was accepting that I am different. My path may not look traditional. My choices may not make sense to everyone, and for a long time I carried shame around that. But eventually I understood. Not all flowers are meant for the same garden. Some souls are meant to grow wildly and authentically, and there is beauty in that too. I think many people are quietly carrying the feeling that they are behind in life somehow. Behind emotionally, behind spiritually, behind financially, behind relationally. But nature never compares itself. A rose does not look at a sunflower and think it failed. A lotus does not rush itself to bloom in winter. Everything unfolds according to its own divine timing. So if you are in a season where things feel uncertain or quiet or painful, I want to remind you, you are not behind, you are in season. And maybe today we can gently ask ourselves, are we blooming? Are we resting? Or are we being replanted? Because all three are sacred, especially being replanted. Because sometimes spirit has to move us from environments where we can no longer grow. And although that process can feel painful, it is often an act of love. Since this is also close to Mother's Day, I think flowers connect beautifully to motherhood too. Mothers, mother figures, grandmothers, spiritual mothers, they nurture life much like gardeners nurture flowers, not by forcing growth, but by offering care, patience, encouragement, and love. And even beyond physical motherhood, I think many people here have been nurturers of others, helping people bloom emotionally, spiritually, lovingly, and that matters deeply. Flowers also remind us of something spiritual and energetic. They carry vibration. You can feel the energy of flowers without words. They soften spaces, comfort people, bring beauty into grief, celebration, birth, prayer, and remembrance. Gentle, but powerful. And I believe that's how spirit often works too. Not always loudly, but not forcefully, but quietly, softly, persistently, like sunlight warming a garden. So today I hope we remember this. We are all part of the same garden of life. No flower competes with another. Each one brings its own medicine, its own beauty, its own purpose, and the same light touches all of us, even when we cannot always see it. And just like flowers, we were never meant to bloom alone. We bloom in connection, in love, in healing, in spirit, in light. Before we close today, I'd like to invite everyone into a brief moment of reflection. If you feel comfortable, gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take a slow, deep breath in and gently exhale. And for a moment, imagine yourself as a flower. Notice where you are in your season. Maybe you are blooming. Maybe you are resting. Maybe you are quietly growing beneath the surface. And wherever you are, let that be enough. Feel the warmth of light reaching towards you, the light of spirit, love, healing, renewal. And just like the sunflower turns towards the sun, may we continue turning toward what brings us peace, truth, and growth. May we trust our timing, may we honor our roots, and may we remember that even in uncertain seasons, something beautiful is still becoming. And so it is. Allow spirit and people to fertilize you. You're never too old to stop being nurtured. Allow people in spirit to pour into you. to water you, to love on you. Allow yourself to continue to bloom. Thank you.